Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. If you can hear me, let me have your yes so that we start off, please. Good morning. Hello, good morning. If you can hear me, let me have your yes, please. Good morning. Welcome to Plan Your Trade, Trade Your Plan Daily Review for the 22nd of March 2019. As always, I would advise you go through this disclaimer and acquaint yourself with what you're about to get into. So, that out of the way, we start off our day. Today, we have some major news coming in from 9:15 till almost 9:30 on Euro USD. So, and after that, then we have Canadian news by 1:30 later in the afternoon. So, that out of the way, we go over to our charts. So, looking at our charts on the DXY, like I pointed out yesterday, the DXY bounced off this trend line. So, bouncing off that trend line, it created what you will call, this is a bullish signal, sort of. Let me get rid of this trend line here. This is a sort of a bullish signal. This is almost like a bullish piercing pattern. As you can see, this candle closed more than half into the previous candle's body, creating almost what seems like a quasi double top, but double bottom here. So now, what are we expecting on this pair for today as the dollar index? There might be a possibility that you may see a bit of pullback on the dollar index. If price goes below 96 for the dollar index, that's 96 somewhere here, then we may see dollar index go lower. But for now, the dollar, as long as the dollar index stays above 96, there exists the potential that the dollar may still gain a bit of strength. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the gold. Like I pointed out yesterday, gold was in a sort of an area, and that resulted in its drop. But when it dropped, it seemed to have found support of this trend line and this static support at 1301. It seems to have found support at this trend line. The trend line running, this one I had to do this morning too, because if you look at it, you will see it was broken. But from here running up to this point, price hit this trend line and bounced. So we look at how the gold closed on the daily time frame. If we look at how gold closed on the daily time frame, it's not a bullish, it's neither a bearish candle. So there is a possibility that price may pull back up a bit. As long as price stays below 1321.35, there exists the potential that price may still drop back down. So for this pair, what we're expecting or what we might see today, two things, excuse me. We might see price do this? Price may try to run up to this area, and if this area holds as resistance, then we may see price run back down. Those are some of the things we may see today. Or better still, you apply a fib from the high of yesterday to the low so far. When you do that, you are looking for retracement points at which if price hits, price might most likely turn. So if you look at that, as you can see, price is already at the 638, at the 50% of yesterday's move. As you can see, price already at the 50%. So there exists a potential price, if this area does not halt price may still drop down a bit. That is it for gold. So for now, gold seems to be slightly tilted to the upside as long as it stays above this trend line. So you might see a move back into this resistance area for a second test. Next we'll be looking at is the USDCHF. Looking at the USDCHF, excuse me, how did it close yesterday on the daily? Almost like a doji, almost a doji. So pretty disappointing. So we go down to the USDCHF. So looking at the USDCHF, it has its resistance at 99.39, and his first support comes in at 99.07, while the second support comes in at 0.9894. So you expect if price comes down into this area and this area holds as support, then you may see price rally up a bit. So if price drops down into this area and finds support, price may go back up. Or if price rallies up into these areas and find resistance, price may drop down. So the next pair I'll be looking at is EURUSD. So looking at the EURUSD, let's look at it on the daily, see how the daily candle closed. Well, the daily candle has a kind of, I can say it's a bullish kind of setup. I can't say for sure. The candle doesn't seem to have a nameable pattern that I know. But there's one thing certain. If you look at this trend line, it's almost like a wedge running from this point to this point. Let me get rid of this one. Do you see the trend line running from this point to this point? Price ran into that trend line and the resistance zone above, but could not stay above it and fell back into the trend line. So that is not a good sign for the buyers. So what might possibly happen on this pair today is you might get a retest of this area. So you may see price rally up into this area, and should price find resistance there, then price may come back down to test these lows. But should this price break above this area, should price break above this 1420 to 1446 area, then expect a pullback and probably a move higher. That is the plausible scenario for the EURUSD. The next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPUSD. If you look at the GBPUSD, it seems, let me get rid of this trend line so that you can see what I'm trying to show you clearly. I don't want to remove the wrong trend line. What's the problem now? Let me get rid of this trend line, okay? So if you notice, it seems as if price is respecting this trend line. As you can see, price broke below it but didn't close below it and moved back inside. So now, what is the plausible game plan for this pair? As you can see it clearly here on the 4-hour. Let me get this well drawn. Get this well drawn. Get this well drawn. Yep. So as you can see, it seems as if price is respecting this trend line. So now, based on this, what do we expect to play out today? Two things. Should we get a move above this resistance here at 31.49, 31.49, then you may see price try to run higher. We see price at above this 31.61 area, then price may move higher. But as long as price stays below this level, there is a possibility it may come down to retest this support area. So this is what you might expect on this pair today. Should this area hold as resistance, you may see price come down to test this area. Should this area hold as support, then price may move higher, do something like this, then move back up. So this is the plausible move for the GBPUSD for today. The next pair we'll be looking at is EURGBP. And looking at the EURGBP, like I pointed out yesterday, price ran into this area, hit this upward resistance and dropped. So on the daily, price closed as a pin bar on the daily. And there's something with this is price closed with a long wick, which is not so bullish in nature. It's more like being a bearish kind of signal. So how do you play this out? There are two ways. As you can see, price has broken above this trend line. So clearly for now, price may be going back up. Price may be going back up. So we can't properly say. So we go down to our intraday chart. If we go down to our intraday chart, we look at raw price. Price is currently below this resistance level it fell down from. So two things. As long as price stays above 86.44, 0.8644, it has the potential to still move higher. But should price run into this resistance area and find resistance, that's if price runs up into this area and finds resistance here, then you might see price drop down to this area. But for now, the EURGBP has a bullish tilt to the upside. Has a bullish tilt. EURUSD has a bullish tilt for now. The next pair we'll be looking at is the AUDUSD. Looking at the AUDUSD, it rejected from this resistance area and trend line, and price has dropped. What we might have now is price is below a resistance here at 71.20, and then we have support at 70.86. Looking at the euro, the AUDUSD from the daily point of view, it closed as almost a long upper wick, which is a bearish signal. So you can do two things, like I always say. In this type of situation, there exists a possibility that price may try to rally up. So what do you do? From the high to the low, you place a fib and watch out for price action between the 38.2 to 61.8 level, as the case may be. As you can see, it closed pretty bearish yesterday with this long upper wick. So the next pair we'll be looking at is USDJPY. Looking at the USDJPY, as you can see, price closed with a long upper wick, long lower wick from this trend line, bouncing off this support here. So now the question is, what's the next line of action for price? To find that out, we drop down to our intraday chart. So two things. Price might be testing this area here. As you can see, price have been having some bit of problems trying to go above 110.92. A move above this 110.92 will send price higher. But as long as price stays below this 110.92, it may come down to retest this support at 110.33 or this trend line here. As you can see, this trend line was broken to the downside, which signals a probable move lower, because price now has a high, a lower high, now made the lower low lower than this, but a move below this 1110.33 will send price pretty lower. The next pair we'll be looking at is the euro yen. Looking at the euro yen, let's see how he closed from the daily. Looking at the euro yen from the daily point of view, seems to have a kind of bullish close, but this long lower wick is reason for concern. This long lower wick is reason for concern. So knowing that, we drop down to our 4-hour chart. So this is the bottom line now. As long as price stays below 126.20, it has the potential to still go down. As you can see, this area was the area that sat as support several times. So if price comes back in here, may test it deeply. If it doesn't go back above, you will see price come lower. But should price go into this place and break above, retest, it may still go higher to test this trend line, as the case may be. So that is it for the that is it for the euro yen for today. So get rid of this. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the pound yen. Looking at the pound yen from a daily point of view, price seems to be respecting this rising trend line. As you can see, closed way back inside it after going below it. So knowing that, we go down to the 1-hour chart, go down to our intraday chart. So as you can see, price gave a big bullish engulfing yesterday, as you can see, but price is currently below a resistance level. So how do we play this? If price moves above 140.07, he may come up to 147.32. But if price cannot go above 146.07, there exists a potential that this is what you may see. You may see price rally here and then drop. So you may see price do this. Price may rally up here and drop. But should price break above here, you wait for a retest and they move higher. And that is it for the pound yen. The next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPCHF. Looking at the GBPCHF, we'll look at it from a daily point of view. Let's get an idea of how the candle closed. It closed bearish, found support at 129.09, but it has finally gone back below this trend line, which is not a very good sign for the buyers. So the next pair will be, how do we sort that out? You go down to your intraday chart. As long as price stays below 131.14, there exists the potential that price may still go lower. Yeah. As long as price stays below this level, there exists the potential that price may still go down a bit. So this is where we're looking at this area. If price runs up here and retest, and the place serves as resistance, we may see price drop. But should price go back above it, wait for a retest of that area and they move higher. So that is the next plausible line of action for the GBPCHF. The next pair we'll be looking at is the EURAUD. Looking at the EURAUD from a daily point of view, how did he close yesterday? Kind of like bearish. Still looking bearish, but the long lower wick is reason for concern. So how do you play this? You drop down to your 4-hour. When you drop down to your 4-hour, there are two things that must happen for this pair to be bullish. One, price has to break back above this falling trend line here. So a move back above that trend line and above 1.6002 will see price higher. But once price closes below this level and this trend line, then there exists the potential that price may come down to 1.5953. That is this area here. The next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPAUD. Looking at the GBPAUD from a daily point of view, it closed bearish but above this trend line running from here to here, stayed above it. So we go down to our intraday chart. So you can see I've already noted something here. This swing from this point to this point has this 38.2 at this area. As you can see, price is already reacting from that level. So we go down to our intraday chart. We'll go down to our intraday chart. This is what we have. This is what we have on our intraday chart. There exists the possibility that price may come down into this area. As long as price does not go below 1.8339, it may just come down, give a second retest of this area, and try to move higher. But this is the bottom line now. You have this swing, the 6.8 comes in at this previous neckline. So should price, and that intersects with this trend line. So should price get to this area, here, and you find bearish evidence, then you can sell. But for now, there is the potential that price may just drop into this area and move back up. The next pair we'll be looking at is the NZD-USD. If you look at the NZD-USD from a daily point of view, it closed, as you can see, price closed as a long upper wick. Price closed as a long upper wick, as you can see. As you can see, price closed as a long upper wick. So what have I done? You just pick the swing, only yesterday's swing, and then you place your bid and wait for price. As you can see, price is heading towards 50% or the 61.8. So at that point on the New Zealand USD, you'll be waiting to take a short trade if you find evidence. That's between this area. If price comes in here and finds resistance, it may go down. Or if price comes in here and they're able to break here, wait for a test and they move higher. But be aware of this falling trend line on the NZD-USD. So the next pair I'll be looking at is the USDCAD. And just like I said yesterday, the USDCAD took off. So how do we play this? As you can see, this trend line is still holding. So yesterday's candle closed as a bearish candle, as a bullish candle, as a bullish candle. So what will you do here? Very simple. Let me get rid of this. What you will do here is, on only yesterday's candle, you apply a fib retracement. On only the candle of yesterday, you apply a fib retracement. When you apply it, then you wait for plausible retest and a move higher. So the 38.2 comes in at 1.3351. The 50% comes in at 1.3336. The 61.8 comes in at 1.3321. So these are levels you need to look out for and wait for a turnaround from this point to continue bullish on the USD CAD. The next pair we'll be looking at is the Canadian pound. So look at this. Support was found off at 1.7043. So as long as price stays below this trend line that it broke, the buyers might still be to the downside, because price may likely run up into this area to retest before dropping further. So that about does it for our currency review for today. Do I have any questions of any sort from anybody? I still have a bit of time on my side. Let me see if I can hurriedly attend to any of your questions. Do I have any questions from anybody? Hello? Do I have any questions from anybody in attendance? You can type in your questions if you have any. Well, seems the chat for today was self-explanatory. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you have questions, this is my Telegram handle, this is my Twitter handle. If you have any questions, you can reach across to me and I'll be glad to answer them and put you through. Thank you all again for coming and wishing you all a beautiful trading day and prosperous weekend ahead. Thank you. Oh, seems somebody else. Okay.